Hey, my name's Steven, coming at you from Florida.
Hello, y'all. This is Kevin coming from Texas.
My name's David. I'm coming from the heartland, Ohio.
And welcome to the Brothers
Born Podcast.
And we're excited to talk to you.
Yes, we are.
Welcome back to the Brothers Born Podcast. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing well.
Good. Now that we're in this new year, we're trying to get back on a regular bi-weekly schedule. So thank you for your patience as we got back into this. So I thought we'd just get right into it. What have you guys been up to? Just briefly, just something kind of fun, exciting in your life?
All right. So have you guys heard of Chris Turner?
No.
So Chris Turner is an English comedian, and his whole thing is that he freestyle raps from suggestions from the audience.
Oh, cool.
So he'll go in and he'll be they'll say something like, "Oh, 9th century crop dusting or crop rotation," and they'll give him I'm trying to think what some other really weird ones. Rapunzel with an afro. This is random topics, and he takes 5 topics and turns them into a rap. It's super clever and really awesome.
On the spot.
And so I've been watching a bunch of Chris Turner videos on YouTube lately.
That's awesome. That sounds pretty funny. I'll have to look those up. There's another freestyle rapper. I forgot his name, but he goes up to people on the street.
David Bourne?
I'd love to hear that rap, actually. There's this guy, he goes up to people on the street and raps about things they're holding in their hand and
Oh yeah. We might be talking about the same guy, because he does that too.
I think it's something Mac. Harry Mack is his name.
Okay, never mind.
He's also pretty fun. He'll be
Mack.
walking around and he'll start rapping about their water bottle and where they're going and the clothes they're wearing, and it's just on the spot. It's pretty funny. But Chris Turner, I'll have to check that out.
I like to take random things my kids like and make songs out of it till they get annoyed with me and don't like it anymore.
Yeah, I do that too.
I don't have kids, but I do that to my wife. I'll sing songs all the time, and she's like, "What are you singing about?" Kevin, you mentioned podcast YouTubes. That's kind of what I've been up to. I got this really cool book called Everyone Has a Podcast Except You, by these 3 brothers who have a podcast called the McElroy Brothers. Their podcast is called My Brother, and Me. It's I listen to it a lot. And they also do a Dungeons and Dragons one called The Adventure Zone.
Nerd.
But it's a great, they're really funny guys. And it kind of are inspiration to me as far as our podcast a little bit. But I was looking at this book they wrote, and they talk about different ways to make it better sound quality and how to have a topic, and it's kind of got some really good information. So as I continue to read it, I might kind of hopefully maybe we can come up with a funny way to make our shape our podcast. So that's what I've been reading lately. It's kind of been my.
I'm probably not going to add Dungeons and Dragons to this one, but
no, I won't do that.
Other stuff.
I don't want, and I don't, and I'd also they're 3 brothers. We're 3 brothers. I don't want to copy them. That would not be cool. So I just think they're funny though. So
I don't know. I think we should do an episode where Steven teaches us how to play Dungeons and Dragons.
That would be fun.
Because neither one of us, Dave, have any interest in it.
You say I'm like an old man. I'd be like a super old man during that episode.
That would be funny. I would.
What do I do with this dragon?
But yeah, that's what I've been up to, is reading this book, and I'm hoping to get some good ideas and inspiration as to how we can kind of produce our podcast more. And so I don't know. What have you been up to, Dave?
Not much at all. This past week, you guys wouldn't know about this anymore, but I've been a weather chaser, I guess, because all I've been doing is paying attention to the forecast. Because I had, out of 5 days of work last week, I had 3 snow days. I didn't go to work Monday, Tuesday, or Friday. So I've been just paying attention to the weather and hoping for more snow days, I guess. But during those snow days, we've been finding a bunch of different in our area, a bunch of different places we could go sledding. So we found some pretty cool hills. I took the kids sledding with some of our friends from church too.
That's cool.
Pretty
That's
good
awesome.
times. Yeah. Nothing much, just out trying to enjoy the weather and enjoy not working. But it looks like this week I'll have a 5-day week. So, it's going to be really, really cold, but no snow.
But you'll have
high. What's that?
But it's President's Day week.
Yeah, you'll have President's Day off.
Yeah, that's next week. That's not.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
But on just so you guys know what we're dealing with here in Ohio. Next Sunday, the forecast says our high will be 5 degrees and our
Oh my
low will be
goodness.
-4 degrees.
See, there's a reason why Steve and I no longer live in Ohio.
But Kevin, as much as we enjoy this warm weather, you know what we never get?
Hmm.
Snow days.
Yeah, no, we don't.
We never get that. I
Hey.
did get a hurricane day in the fall, but that was
I don't
like
even
one
get
day.
those. Nothing
got a
happens
couple.
in the desert. There's nothing that happens in the desert.
So David's the one that's really laughing right now.
I've got a couple of fog days this year.
So, yeah, what the heck is a fog day? Like what the?
Well, I
What is
teach in the
that?
country. If the fog's so bad the buses can't see, it's not safe for them to drive. So cancel
Yeah.
school.
Jealous about that for sure.
So our last podcast we talked about villains, right?
Yeah, we've been talking about villains for a little while. I
And-
think 3 episodes in.
And I think we kind of said that we were going to get into like specifically some villains of the Star Wars universe this time.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about the Empire, as I recall.
The Empire. Okay.
What do you think it's like to live in the Empire? Like, I like to think that the Empire is not all bad. You know, I
See,
think it's a
I've
similar
actually thought
situation.
about this a lot, and I would love to see a Star Wars project where it's just like, takes place during the Imperial era, but instead of like focusing on the Rebel Alliance defeating the Empire, it would just be like people living their everyday lives while under the Empire.
Yeah, it'd be very
Because like if
interesting.
you lived in Coruscant in the Empire, things weren't really that bad for you. Like now if you lived in, Kashyyyk and you were like a Wookiee, then yeah, that kind of sucks. But like, like your average like person living in Coruscant, the Empire is not really that bad. They're just kind of chilling, living their everyday life like normal. And I think that's an aspect that I would think would be fun to see during that era of Star Wars.
Just like a family drama, like a soap opera in the Star Wars universe that takes place on Coruscant,
or a sitcom.
or a sitcom. Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
That would be cool. I mean, they're kind of with the Mandalorian. They've taken a different viewpoint a little bit. So yeah, it'd be cool to see that, or to see like the stormtroopers. They all leave. What about the families they leave behind? Or
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, or I would love to see a project that focused on a specific stormtrooper, but it'd be more like, or actually, no, like a team of stormtroopers, but it'd be like World War II movies.
like
Oh,
Dirty
that'd be
Dozen, but with stormtroopers.
Yeah, or well, they actually have something like that coming out. The
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. Yeah, that looks really cool. But what I mean is like, imagine like a platoon of stormtroopers and just showing of the war with the Rebel Alliance, but from their perspective as just an ordinary stormtrooper, because you don't really see that perspective. You only see like the Emperor's perspective or Vader's perspective.
That'd be
But if
very
you're just like a
interesting.
normal stormtrooper, you just got a job. You're a soldier like anybody else. Like
But-
they don't necessarily.
I would like to see the training they go through to become stormtroopers too, especially the marksmanship training. Because
That's what I'm
I'd like
saying.
to think that not all of them are terrible shots, just the ones that are on, maybe the ones that are on the ones that are in the movies, I guess. But there has to be some good ones out there too. That
So
are good
that's a
soldiers.
good. Kevin, you talked about having a show about a platoon of stormtroopers. I like that idea, but every single stormtrooper you see just dies like right away. Like
Except for
they're-
Finn and Captain Phasma.
they're just and they don't, not that they're not smart, but a lot of them seem kind of dumb to me too. I don't know.
I would also like to see something where like stormtroopers become self-aware and realize that they're in a movie where they're not just always going to die because that's just how things are.
I won't stand for this.
Yeah, like I think someone did a fan video of something like that. It was pretty funny.
There's
Where stormtroopers are like, Williams talking. He's like, you realize like we're here for comic effect. Like no matter what we do, we're gonna lose. And just
that in fact in the Mandalorian season 1, there's those 2 stormtroopers. I think it's the second to last episode, maybe the last episode. I forgot what they said, but they just kind of banter back and forth for a little bit.
oh yeah, dude, that's
Jason-
one of my favorite scenes ever. I always say there's two perspective. Sometimes you gotta watch things from a different perspective. And watching considering Star Wars from the perspective of just like your ordinary stormtrooper, like that would kind of suck to be
Yeah,
like
dude.
a stormtrooper. Even if you were successful, you might make Darth Vader mad one day and he just decides
Plus,
to choke you.
you're only known as a number. Like
Yeah.
that's all.
like how
that's all you're
terrible is
known
that?
as.
And
And the
there's
other
like
There's the 2 smartest stormtroopers in the whole series. Well, they're actually, I don't know if they're called stormtroopers in that, but in The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren has like a tizzy and he's like smashing crap and slicing stuff with his lightsaber, and those 2 guys are walking. They're like, nope, and they turn around.
yeah,
Those are the
that's
smartest guys in
They
the whole
are.
Star Wars universe.
They're like, no, we ain't doing that. What I
What
think is
about-
weird about the Empire is there's this huge like galactic, entity. They have like this mass army and stuff like that. And the Rebel Alliance, of course, is just like a ragtag bunch of like people, right? So what I want to know is TIE fighters. So I don't know if you guys, I know I'm probably more of the Star Wars expert than you two are, but TIE fighters don't have shield generators, but X-Wings do. So like that's why TIE fighters blow up so easily, because they don't have shields. Why would an Empire, granted they have a lot of TIE fighters, but why would they do that? Like if obviously the technology is available, so
They're saving money, dude.
I'm thinking of the money. Like they had to cost millions of dollars or millions of rupees or whatever, credits or whatever they call it. But yeah, maybe they just don't care about their soldiers, I guess. They just send them out there.
Or even like the TIE fighters don't have a hyperdrive, whereas like, you take an X-Wing, A-Wing, Y-Wing, they all have hyperdrives. Like why would the Empire do that? Like that doesn't make...
That's a good.
It probably is a money thing.
It has to be a money thing because like there's so many, the volume is so high. They're like, all right, what do we have to sacrifice? I know, the shields.
It's like the Kia. Just send out the Kia Forte.
I think the same applies to Stormtrooper armor, because like obviously the armor doesn't really do much to protect
just for
them.
looks.
And I think it does have some element of protection. I don't know. I've never really looked into it, but it's probably it's so mass produced and they had to cheapen it where they had to bring down the quality a little bit. So I would like to think that it does something for them.
You talked about
look weird.
You talked about how they don't have hyperdrive, and David made a parallel to a Kia car. I have a Kia Forte, and let me tell you, Dave, it has sport mode, which is a pretty big deal. It's not hyperdrive, but I press that button, and man, my gears are shifting.
So, all right, I take it back. Well, thinking about though, like, what about the dudes that are at the table with the generals? One of them's getting choked by Darth Vader or by whoever. Like every time they sit down for a meeting, one of them's going to get choked by the Force. Like they're excited, they're promoted finally. Maybe they used to be a stormtrooper, now they have a seat at the table wearing those funky captain outfits, whatever. But as soon as Darth Vader comes in, like,
oh crap,
all that hard work goes for naught because one of them's getting choked.
One of my favorite scenes in Star Wars is when like there's that admiral that like fails Vader and he like chokes him. And then there's that Captain Piet. He's like, Captain Piet. He's like, Captain Piet. So he kills like the admiral, and then he tells Captain Piet that he's been promoted to admiral.
Oh yeah.
Like that dude, like the look on his face is like, oh man,
crap.
Dude, Captain Piet needs his own movie. I would totally watch that movie.
That would be interesting.
Like him going through the ranks just because everyone above him just gets killed, and then
he's proud. He's like calling his wife, like, "Oh, I got promoted, babe. I'm gonna give us extra money to send home to take care of the kids. I've been working so hard for this." Oh crap! Here's Darth Vader.
That dude's awesome. He needs
That's part of the qualification, though. Like when you go up that far, you got to know in the back of your mind, there's always that risk that someone might choke you. So
there's a lot of people in the Empire that, like, I would love to see have their own movie.
Yeah,
like Captain Piet. And then one of my, I'll have to save that discussion for later. But I want you guys to think about this for like maybe another time, maybe next episode or episode down the line. Who's the real hero at the Death Star? Who's the one that actually, the first one? Who's the real hero at the Death Star?
Jyn Erso's dad.
You want to say Luke. You want to say maybe Han Solo, but it's not. It's somebody else, and we'll have to discuss that in another episode.
R2-D2.
But anyway, the Empire, they got some fancy uniforms. Those Stormtrooper armor, it looks cool. It doesn't work very well, but it looks cool. I want to meet the stylist who designed all their uniforms. Like those big old dome hats, the black ones. Like, whose idea? Like
the guys who shoot the missiles, those hats that just look like aerodynamic hats, even though they have no reason to need those.
Like I think this will look cool. Let's put this weird, funky helmet on these dudes. Or even the Stormtrooper uniforms. Like they're cool looking, but like, I don't know. Like what inspired that?
And why do the Stormtroopers have different uniforms? But the ones who are down with the Ewoks that drive the speeders, they have white, but they're not. They're different.
It's a different class of Stormtrooper. Those are scout troopers.
Oh,
okay.
And then because if you go on a Battle Hoth, they have the snow troopers. The Stormtroopers aren't actually like. So that's the thing that is kind of weird about the movies too, is because in movies you always see all these Stormtroopers, but Stormtroopers are like a class. It'd be like kind of like if you had like in real army, you had like your regular army, and then you have like your Rangers. So there actually are. If you watch Han Solo, you remember how Han Solo, like before when he joined the Empire, he came on that planet, he's fighting. He's not wearing Stormtrooper armor because he's just a regular soldier. He's part of the Imperial Army as opposed to the Stormtroopers. So it's like a core within the military.
Wait.
But they never show like the regular army.
I know
guys.
there's snow troopers. I know there's the scouts, the stormtroopers.
Were you just saying that the stormtroopers are the Rangers? Because I feel like
I wouldn't say,
they're like less trained.
I'm not saying they're Rangers. They're supposed to be a little bit more. I think they're supposed to be a little bit more elite.
Really?
But you obviously you never
I want to see those guys in the bottom. Then I want to see how they do.
I mean, and the only time you've ever seen anybody other than stormtroopers fight like an regular Imperial Army soldiers is in the Han Solo movie, and it's only like briefly.
That was a good movie too. I
haven't even seen. I gotta watch that movie.
It's underrated in my opinion. I like
it. It is underrated.
It wasn't on Disney Plus for a long time, but I think it is now.
Yeah, it is now. All of them are because I watched them all in chronological order like a nerd.
Just
Steph and I are going to do that. We're going to try and do that soon. It's
so you've watched those and the MCU both in chronological order.
Exactly, dude. I have nothing to do. I don't have any video games or something. I spend all my days studying. When I don't study, I got to find something to entertain myself. So that's what I've been doing.
Gotcha.
So what if we were in the Empire? Last night we were texting each other, and each of us got with one of the other ones and decided what the other person would be. So me and David decided what Kevin would be. Kevin and David decided what I would be, and me and Kevin decided what David would be if we were in the Empire. So I think this might be a good time to go around and discuss that. And so
we do have to get going in a few minutes, and we have to make sure we cover this. So.
Yes, this is very important. So.
I'll be the first. Tell me what I am.
All right. Perfect.
So Steve and I thought about this for a while.
We had two different ideas initially.
And initially we thought possibly a Death Star gunner.
Oh, I like that.
But the guy with the sweet helmet.
The helmet has like a little slit in it and looks like it has a nose.
Things. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about earlier.
And we thought it'd be funny, like you'd be the guy with the helmet and you'd spend hours buffing it every night, so it's really extra shiny, so people would notice you more.
I probably would do that.
So initially that was our thought, but then we brought up an interesting fact in our text last night, like, well, are we limiting it to like humans or can we include droids? So that's when Steve and I decided protocol droid.
Which is, there's many different types. C-3PO is a protocol droid, but the one we had in mind was the RA-7, which is the black one with the bottom half looks like C-3PO kind of, but the top half's like a.
You have to look it up, Dave. His head looks like you.
What does he do?
He's
just a protocol droid.
So like he
just walk around the Death Star.
I looked these droids up, and they actually, one of their roles is to be on the Death Star. They spy on Grand Moff Tarkin that way, because there was some concern that he might try to use the Death Star to like take over the Empire.
I could totally see him doing that, to be honest. Grand Moff Tarkin's kind of a messed up dude.
So you were a special spy too, Dave.
Dude,
so.
I get to spy? Man.
And but dude, your head, man.
and you're always calculating statistics. So it's like there's a 98% possibility that and then that's you.
You know, one of those droids mentioned the little air vent thing in the Death Star, and then there was like whatever, and they really like probably
I could have saved the whole thing.
Wiped his memory or something.
I got it. That's good. That wasn't too embarrassing. I thought you guys were going to do me dirty, but I guess I have to look at the droid before I say it's not too embarrassing. To check out the picture.
I have a hunch that I'm going to be the most embarrassed here. So let's target Kevin next.
All right. Well, I think Steven and I came up with some, but I don't know if one is an actual thing or not, but it still was fun to come up with. The first thing I thought of, well, maybe he could be some kind of medic or some kind of,
I don't think the Empire has medics.
Yeah, that was just a brief thought, and I was thinking more like
they have torture droids, and I mean they're medical.
Well, you're not that.
I think the Star Wars universe, all their medical personnel are droids. I think.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought too, because I think of the time that Luke had to get his hand fixed, and there was that dude, that one really cool droid.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that dude was beast. We should do this for
if we could be droids, like you guys made me a droid, then that could be a possibility. But then we talked a little bit deeper, and I'll let Steven give you the other option that we came up with.
We came up with, those red guards that guard Emperor Palpatine? That's what we think you would be. But here's the thing. You'd be the red guard, and you would think you're like this super legit guy getting all the gossip about the Emperor and trying to sprinkle it down towards, but really you're just like his lapdog, and you're like fanning him with giant leaves and
getting him his coffee.
I don't think they do that.
Getting him his coffie, and you just
pretty much you would do his bidding no matter what, and you would go to your friends saying, "Oh, guess what I found out today?" But really, like,
sadly, I could see myself doing that.
All this inside information. but the guy just sees you as kind of like some pawn, and eventually you probably will get killed too. Yeah.
You'd get like Darth Vader's going to get mad one day, or Luke's going to come in and take you down. But yeah, that's kind of what we had in mind. But you get to wear a super dope uniform, though. I mean, that
And
was
you do
red.
get to
See,
be
I
right,
told you, David. I told you.
you do get to be right by the Emperor, but the thing is, like, you're pretty much, yeah, you're just whatever he wants you to do, you have to do it.
All right.
And
So David and I,
Oh, hit me!
we
Oh
actually
boy!
thought the same thing for you, Stephen.
Oh,
But not
really?
because, well, so one of the things
The
we
Red
thought of.
Guard?
Yeah,
we have a couple different
But here's the
options for
reason
you,
why.
too.
Here's the reason why. Because of the
Yes.
three of us, you're the only one, and you just confirmed it, by the way. You're the only one who actually would want that job just because of the outfit.
Hey now.
Yes, you would.
like you'd be like, man, this outfit's awesome. It's a dope outfit, as you just said most recently. And that'd be the only reason you went to the job. You're like, man, this outfit's awesome.
That's
So
true.
we thought that for one thing, and then we also thought one of those like for your stylistic part that would cover that portion. But we also thought one of those dudes that just sits at a computer and pushes random buttons. So we thought that would be good for you too.
and I thought, because I figured that's kind of what you do in your job now anyway. Just push a bunch of buttons and let
Right.
so people can hear sounds. So like, you're sitting there like just pushing buttons with your stupid hat, like your little grain form.
But
I'm proud of
also
that
thought-
uniform.
I also thought of one that I don't know if Kevin would totally supported, but I'm going to share it anyways. I thought maybe you could be someone whose job is to clean out the droids, and like you had these big ambitions to be this really powerful person in the Empire, but you ended up just cleaning out droids when they needed it, and like talking to the droids about, I could have been somebody as you're cleaning them out. I could have been a contender. I could have had a seat at the table, and the droids like becoming your best friend and like you're confiding in him. So I thought that'd be a good job for you too.
I'm just counting down the days so I can cash in my Empire 401k and get out of there. Whatever their version
I wonder if they
is.
haven't.
A
Dude, I don't know if
retirement.
they even have a 401k because I don't think anybody in the Empire really makes it to retirement.
Except for me. Except for me, the droid, the droid guy.
Dude, that would be an awesome movie. The one guy in the Empire who makes it to retirement.
That'd be so funny. Like they have all these, like they have a great retirement plan, but they just bank on no one making it that far.
Like, yeah, before he gets there, Darth Vader will kill him anyways.
But then I make it. And I'm like, yes. And it turns into like a legal drama where I can't, like, they're like not giving me what to do. That could be pretty sweet.
Dude, we need to contact the people at Disney and tell them some of these ideas for movies.
So we have 2 Imperial Guards and 1 droid right now between the 3 of us.
Yeah. So no one really that important.
What if Steve and I were Imperial Guards together? So like he'd be sitting there like talking about how awesome his outfit is.
You'd just be sitting there like, dude, did you hear what Palpatine said, man?
He's like, yeah, I was standing right there, man. Dude, what is with those dudes? Why do they carry a stick?
Yeah.
Ask Steven. He likes sticks. What?
No, because Dave and I talked about this yesterday for a little bit too. Yesterday, obviously, blasters and like firearms and things, even lightsabers, are available. So why do the Imperial Guards, the guys who are in charge of being, guarding the most important person in the galaxy, carry a stick?
So
doesn't it have some kind of electric ability?
I think they're force pikes.
The ones in 789, the ones that like Kylo Ren and Rey take them down, that sweet, awesome. That's like the coolest scene in the whole new trilogy, like the battle sequence. And those guys have like an electric thing on there. They're not the same guys, I don't think. But
I want to say it's the same thing. I think they're force spikes. They have like something about them.
I just remember when I got their action figure as a little kid, I was really disappointed they didn't have legs.
Again,
just like
also
the solid.
Another reason why. That's right. Another reason why that should be Steven. But I did forget about the solid plastic.
It's like solid. It's like a dress. It's kind of like the Lego when Lego characters have a dress. It's just like they don't have legs. I was like, man, that's a bummer.
For some reason, I think that the Star Wars toys that came out when I was a kid were better. Like, and they had more of them.
No, they definitely were not better.
They had more, didn't they?
They weren't as articulate. What I think is awesome about Star Wars toys, I don't have any. Oh, I used to get a couple, but is they make a toy for literally every character that ever existed.
True, they do.
That's what I thought they did that more in the old
that
days.
droid we were talking about that David is.
Yeah,
here's a toy for him.
You're talking about action figures. How they make a toy of anybody. Do you know who Mala Keely is? Do you remember who that is?
No, who is that?
He's like this.
Mama Keely, what?
Mala Keely. He's just like big. He's like this like obese guy who's hanging out with Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, is he the
yes.
rain car
Yes,
guy?
yes.
The guy who's like in charge of the rain car?
I had his action figure. I'm like, he's like not even a big character at all, but they made a toy of him as well.
He's I feel bad for that dude. He's so sad when the rain car dies.
Yeah. He's so bummed out. I'm like, oh.
He's just like, oh man, poor guy. He's just trying, that's probably his best friend, He probably told him all his darkest secrets. Because let's face it, none of the people in Jabba's palace are particularly interesting to talk to, probably. The guy's probably just,
yeah, dude.
He's just big fat guy eating his stuff, talking to the Rancor. He's like, man, you're the only one that understands. The Rancor's like, he's like, yeah. He was so sad when that thing got killed.
Is he that little dude that sits on Jabba's lap or something?
No. He's like,
no, that's Sirius Crumb.
Okay.
I didn't have to look that up. I already knew it. Man, I am a nerd.
He looks like
Rancor.
No, the Rancor is the monster underneath Jabba the Hutt's.
Yeah, the one that eats the slave girl. Ogla, I think.
But Malakili's like
the thing that eats Boba Fett.
No, that's the Sarlacc.
Oh.
No, this is like, how
Oh wait, I know what you're talking about.
He has that floor that falls and people fall underneath.
Yes.
I think doesn't Luke kill it?
Yeah, so the first time you see it, we don't really see it, but like you have the Twi'lek dancer, Ogla something or another. That's their name. Well, I don't know why I know that. She,
I do.
Like, so she gets thrown into the pit. You hear like a bunch of noises, and she dies. And then like he throws Luke in there, and he sees the rain car. Remember, he like sticks the bone in their Lancar's jaw. And
it's been a while since I watched that.
Malakili is this guy. He like takes care of the Rancor.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, and like I feel like. I don't know. I'd rather be in the Empire than be in Jabba the Hutt's palace for sure, because they got it rough over there too. At least the Empire, you're clean, and you can take a shower and stuff.
If I had to be anyone in the whole, I think I'd want to be Lando. Don't you think? Like he's a high roller.
If you're like Lando, Dave, you have to wear a sick cape all the time.
Oh, maybe.
Which is kind of more up my alley as far as looking dope all the time.
That's true. Okay,
dude, you need to start wearing capes.
Yes, Dave. Capes all around.
I don't know how well that would go over, but I'll think about it.
What if you did? You just start wearing a cape everywhere you go.
The thing is, of the three of us, like if David started wearing a cape, I'd imagine his wife would be like, "What are you doing?" Like, But like, I feel like if I wore a cape, Tasha would just be like, "Oh, okay, so you're a cape guy now." Like,
Stephanie made me a cape. Actually.
Did she?
Back when we were teenagers for some church thing, but I still have it.
This is what Kevin and I thought that all three of us. I don't know if you can see it.
All
three of us really would be.
Yeah, the vehicle. Okay, so Stephen, we did decide that in all honesty, as much as we want to say otherwise, all three of us would end up being like the at pilots, like the drivers on the vehicles.
Oh
yeah, that stupid gray uniform with that stupid hat. They just like kind of sit there.
The three of us just like hang out together and like complain about our jobs.
Yeah, and like, oh crap, they're tying our legs up with rope. Isn't going to last much longer.
Oh, here they come. They're going to use our uniforms as a disguise again.
And we would be up there complaining about the stupidness of those vehicles. Really, like, what is the point of these things?
Oh, see that? Okay, so here's two Star Wars discussions I want to have. One, the Death Star, because I want to talk about the hero of the Death Star specifically. Also, and the two kind of tie together, how kind of impractical the Death Star is in some ways. And the other thing I want to talk about, I want to have maybe our next two episodes, is how people in the Star Wars universe are terrible at their jobs. Because specifically in terms of design, like if you look, their architects are terrible. Whoever designs the Imperial vehicles, terrible. Like they don't take things into consideration, like practicality, how impractical things in Star Wars universe are. So I feel like our two next podcasts should be those two topics.
Yeah, I think let's spend some time with the Death Star next time, and
yes.
I think that'd be fun. And we could talk about lots of different aspects of it. The true hero, what was the Empire thinking, and I think that'd be a fun one for sure.
Cool, man. Sounds good.
Dave, I know we have 3 minutes left, so I got to ask you real quick. If you started wearing capes and you went to work, what would happen?
Dude, that would be amazing.
In the school I work at, it's
yes.
so conservative and like in the middle of the country. I don't know. I probably would get all kinds of that'd be interesting. I'd probably have to go see my principal. Mr. Bourne, can you come to my office when you... just let me get my cape, sir. I'll be right there.
So in the Army dress uniform, I don't know if it's still a thing, but for I know at one point, if you look into the regulation, there is actually an authorized cape for the
Oh,
Army
really?
dress uniform. Yes, I've never
That's
seen it.
Dude,
I don't
you
think
do
it's
that.
around anymore, but apparently it
Do you
was
think
a thing
Dad,
at
do you
one
think Dad
point.
ever had that?
I doubt it. I don't think anybody's ever had that.
Dave, what color would your cape be?
Oh, geez. Well, obviously blue, man, and then I'd have some music symbols on the back of it.
Yes, I love that.
Maybe a treble clef. I don't know. Bass clef gets
So-
a little bit left out sometimes, though. So maybe
So-
a bass clef.
You
I
when
do
you
like me some bass clef.
when you get in class, I want you to you'd flap it, and you'd be like, "Class is in session."
Dude, is he wearing white gloves?
Yes.
Like,
And you pull out your little what are those things? The maestro
A
has.
baton.
Yeah, you pull out the baton. That's dude.
yes.
I love this. I want to see this happen.
Dude, this is a thing that needs to happen, Dave.
All right.
And,
I'll
we
get
have
right
to
on
see.
it.
We have to see it. We have to see it happen.
I'll get right on that.
Okay, so you'd have music notes. Would they play? Would it be like an actual piece of music?
I think
Like-
so. I think so.
What
don't
piece
know.
of music would it be?
The first one that comes to mind is Beethoven's Fifth. That first, the first, da 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 da. But then,
Oh yeah,
the more I think about it, that's probably a little too popular. Of I don't know.
depending
Dude, I
on
think
what
you
you're
should
doing
go.
that
I think
day.
you should go with Mozart's The Magic Flute.
Or
Which
change
one?
it depending on
Which
what
song
you're doing.
from the Magic Flute? Yeah, I guess I could change the note. I could put like a felt notes and change them. I guess. I don't know.
If it's an exam day, but if it's like the first day of school, Magic Flute, I don't know. All right, enough of that. We
Magic
got to get
Flute.
going.
You guys don't
Okay,
even know
go on.
any songs. You know any songs from the Magic Flute, do you?
No, I don't. But
It's an
it's
opera.
Mozart. I like Mozart. So
Yeah, that would be. I don't know. I'd think about that. Magic Flute would be a possibility.
That'd be
I don't
sweet.
know. We'd have to see. But
All right.
Beethoven is the first one that comes to mind.
Well, this is fun. Thanks for listening, everybody, and stay tuned for next episode. And yeah, you guys
May the
have.
force be with you.
I'll catch you guys next time.
all right.
All right.
Bye.
Hello! Thanks for listening to this episode of the Brothers Born podcast. We had a great time talking about Star Wars and our roles in the Empire if we were there. And it was really fun. Our brothers and I had a good time putting it together. Hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank Saksham Gangwar for his picture of the stormtroopers that we borrowed from Unsplash.com for this week's episode art. Feel free to check out more of his images, as well as many others at Unsplash.com. They also have a lovely app that has images on it as well. We've taken a journey to a galaxy far, far away, and we're going to continue to stay there, at least for another episode or two. Next time, look forward to a discussion about the Death Star. Is it practical? How much would it cost to run such a device? Why would you build such a thing? Well, those questions get answered in our next episode. Hope you get a chance to listen to it. We look forward to having you. If you want to email us at brothersbornpodcast@gmail.com. You can also check us out on our Facebook page. Take care.